Hi, Broadview Bulldog. This week's lesson is Doodling Every Day with Miss Edwards. All right. The materials that you'll need for this week: a paper, notebooks, notepads, post-it notes, cards, envelopes, anything that you can find lying around that's available. You'll also need some pens, markers, pencils, etc. You can also draw virtually on a tablet as well and doodle there. All right, our vocabulary. Doodling. What is doodling? Doodles are spontaneous marks that can take many forms, from abstract patterns or designs to images of objects, landscapes, people, or faces. Some people doodle by retracing words or letters. Some of the doodling benefits: it can keep you focused and help you learn information. All right, here's our weekly lesson tutorial video on how to doodle.
You probably think you know how to doodle, and you're probably right. But it's important to remember that there's a difference between doodling and drawing. There's a secret ingredient that sets doodles apart. And this secret ingredient is missing from a lot of what people call doodles these days. So what exactly is doodling and how do you do it? To get started, grab a pen, pencil, marker, or any other drawing tool you're really comfortable with. You'll also want some paper. Historically, doodles are most at home in the margins of your school notebook, a scratch pad by your phone, or maybe some little notepads that happen to be laying around your desk. The last thing is the most important, but it can take a lot of different forms. Maybe a movie you're watching, or a really long phone call with the cable company. Or, as I love this one, an audiobook or a podcast. This is the secret ingredient I was talking about. What all these have in common is that they're a distraction. They're something for you to give your attention to. And that level of distraction is what makes a doodle rather than just a drawing. It's not really doodling unless you're paying full attention to something else. The element of distraction is what makes doodling such a powerful and worthwhile activity. Studies have shown that doodling actually increases your ability to remember what you're listening to, whether that's a lecture, audiobook, whatever. And it does this by giving your brain just a little bit of wiggle room so it doesn't feel too confined. But it also keeps your brain grounded, keeping you from wandering into full-on daydreaming, which actually, it turns out, consumes a lot of mental energy. So keep a pen and paper handy and pull it out whenever it's time to sit still and listen for a while. Don't think too much about what you're going to draw. That would defeat the entire purpose. Doodle regularly. This is going to help you remember whatever it is you're supposed to remember, and it's also going to develop your drawing skills at the same time. Over time, you'll build up an awesome library of little drawings that came from a part of you you probably wouldn't have been able to access if you were just sitting down and really drawing intentionally. Whatever you do, don't throw them away. So snap a few photos of your doodles and share them online with the hashtag #CreativeLive.
All right, that's doodling. An example of and lesson of how to properly doodle. All right, revisiting the directions. When you start your doodle, make sure it's something that you need to pay attention to or focus on, like watching a show or talking to a friend or listening to music. Let your mind focus on what you're listening to and then start doodling. Don't give thought to what you're going to draw. That would defeat the purpose, like you said in the video. Just put your pen to paper and start moving it around. It might end up being a picture, it might end up being a pattern, or some random collection of shapes. Whatever you do, do not throw away any of your doodles. Keep a collection, start a gallery. If you have a doodle that you specifically love, build upon that doodle, color it in, make it larger, etc. All right, this is inspiration from an artist who goes by the name of Mr. Doodle.
I used to draw over my tables and chairs and things like that and fill up my sketchbooks at school in the margins with drawings, and people just used to know me as the kid who doodled everywhere and who was always drawing. So I thought, that's what I want to present to the world as an artist. I want to label myself Mr. Doodle, the person who doodles everywhere. I make them by drawing a little bit and then adding something to it, and it grows out kind of like a doodle virus is what I call it, and it kind of entangles and wraps itself around like graffiti spaghetti. In the future, I want to take over huge towns with doodling. I want to do really big stuff, theme parks, and as big as you can think, that's what I want to aim for. Thanks very much and have a doodly day.
All right, that's Mr. Doodle himself. Doodling examples. These are artists that happen to use Post-it notes. You can try and find whatever paper you have available, receipts, note cards, envelopes. If you notice, some of these are really organized, like the one in the sketchbook over here. And then this happens to be a gallery wall at a library in which people add with their Post-it doodles that they make while they're reading at the library. All right, friends, I can't wait to see what you make. Good luck doodling!